What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down A.J. Brown and his route running ability, guys. I think he has one of the more underrated route running abilities in this game, and I think it's only going to get better, one of the best rookie receivers this year. So let's break down what makes him so special, guys. And if you're a receiver and you want to improve your football IQ, check out that link in the description if you want to be able to identify coverages just like how a quarterback would, okay? So this first thing here is he's going to be running an out, okay? So how he runs this out is we're going to talk about this square cut at the top of the route, how he attacks this DB's outside shoulder and gets him to sit inside, and then we get some leverage. So let's watch this thing full speed. So he's attacking that outside shoulder, gets his DB to shuffle with him, sounding like he's going to make this in break and run a dig, okay? So that's why he wants to attack this outside shoulder, number one, because again, it gets this DB to shuffle, right? It gets him to kind of lean to the outside. And now what he's selling is like he's just going to run up, attack that outside, trying to get this DB to turn and then break it off on a dig. That's why he's attacking this outside shoulder, right? So when he comes off here attacking that outside shoulder, you see his eyes are to the outside. And what does that do? That DB just drifts. Now, if he were to just make some basic cut right here and round it off to the out, the DB might be able to make a good play on it, right? So we got to give him a move at the top of the route. We got to have different things in our arsenal that we can use at the top of the route to get some separation. So he decides to make this 1-2. Now, you see when he makes this 1-2, he's selling like he's just cutting right here and is going to run a dig right now. And how he sells that is by giving his body to the inside. Coming up, 1-2. And you see how much he's closing the gap with this DB. In this situation, off man look in the red zone. We want to close the gap with the DB, give him a 1-2 to the inside, very sudden, and you're moving your body with it. I'm moving my body, gets this DB to stop his feet, get him to freeze inside, and then we're here being physical, get those hands off. That's a great job by A.J. Brown working this out in the red zone. Now also I want to talk about the catch. Every time we catch this thing, guys, you want to think of your eyes like we're just looking in this ball, right? I'm focusing on, if you're in high school, I'm focusing on the stripe of the ball. In this case, I want to look this thing in all the way to my eyes and make sure that I don't look away, okay? That's a great job by A.J. Brown working this out. Let's watch it full speed one more time. So coming out, 1-2. That's a great job by A.J. Brown, closing the gap, then working this square cut, okay? So now we're going to talk about this kind of post out. He kind of breaks it out like almost like a whip route, but we're going to talk about how his eyes are what going to get him separation, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed. So he's coming out full speed, breaks, eyes to the inside, then breaks it down. Now, the break could be a little bit smoother, but again, he is 10, 12 yards downfield, so it's a little bit tougher if you were running like a whip route, okay? So he's coming off here. Now, when he makes this break, again, he's making it all look the same. Very sudden, head and shoulder movement to the outside, selling like he's just running a post. Now, here's the thing, guys. He's probably ran this post 1 or 2 times a game, right, already, and this DB's sitting on that post. I'm not going to get beat by this post again, right? And now, obviously, he's got help to the inside a little bit, but when he gives his eyes here back to the quarterback and he commits his hips, right? When this DB's coming here, he's looking for his eyes and his body to turn. That's what tells him that this is a post. So your eyes are going to tell lies, right? But you also got to commit your body. I see a lot of people look with their eyes, but their shoulders and their hips are drifting upfield, not selling it all the way, right? We want to fully commit here, fully commit my eyes, and your hips is what changes direction on this route. So he's coming out here, fully commits. Now he's dropping his hips. Now I think he could get a little bit lower, and like, I wouldn't even say lower, I would say more aggressive, because you see how he kind of cruises in there with his hips and they're kind of slow. You see those extra steps, right, where he's coming here. I would like it to just be 1-2 and he's out. But you see how he takes those extra steps because his hips are a little bit slower. And, right, it's easy for me to say I'm not making this break 12, 15 yards downfield, right? That's why it's a little bit harder. Now, here's the thing. I would rather have extra steps than you slow down and make sure it's 2 steps, right? We want to be able to change direction on a dime. That's what a lot of people don't get. The mistake people make is they either slow down and they take the right amount of steps, but they're still slow. So you might as well have just been fast and taken extra steps. Or what they do is they don't have enough body control with their hips and they don't drop their hips enough, so they take all these extra steps right here. I don't think that's the case right here, okay? I think it's just hips need to slam down a little bit more aggressive, and that will get him in out of their 2 steps, okay? But I'd rather have extra steps and you being fast than you slow down and have the right steps, okay? We want to be fast and we want to change direction quick. And you see on the 2 steps where he's out of there, his shin angles could be a little bit more angled on this like 45 to really drive him out of this break, right? And I think that comes with getting his hips just a little bit lower and being more aggressive with those hips, right? But then again, still a great route, selling this thing with his eyes, selling this thing with his body, gets that DB to overcommit. It's just 2 little details, and I guarantee you he'd be the first one to tell you that. And now when he comes out, you see here, because his shin angles are a little high, you see how he's popping up right here, right? He's popping up rather than driving and running out and getting more separation. That's why I think if he's on those inside arch of his feet and his shins are a little bit angled to the inside, that could drive him out, okay? And he could pump those arms and run out of it. Now, the ball's underthrown, does a great job coming back to it right there and then making a play. It's a good job by A.J. Brown. I am actually a fan of this route just because of his eyes selling this route, giving his shoulders and his hips on the post. Just think his hips could be a little bit more aggressive. He'd get a little bit lower on the break. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, coming out, eyes, body, break it down. 2 steps I would like, but I'd rather have extra steps and you be fast than be slow and just have the right amount of steps. Okay, so now we're going to talk about his technique. Okay, this is at his pro day when he was at Ole Miss. Now we're going to talk about the technique of him snapping down at the top of the route. So I want you to see how smooth this top of the break is and how well he accelerates out, because this is perfect technique. This is exactly what I teach. 3 steps at the top of the break, coming back to this ball on this curl, right? So we're going to talk about this right now. So when he's snapping down here, right, snapping down, I want you to see how aggressive he is with his hips and how you're bringing your chin to your knee, okay? You're snapping down, you're dropping your hips aggressively, and you're bringing your chin to your knee. So he's here, dropping down. That's exactly the position that you want to be in. Chin to your knee, snapping down right here, okay? And you see how his knee's not way over his toe and his chest isn't leaning back. How you guys change direction. Now, a lot of people think they change direction. Like, you probably played around with your friends before and you chased each other, and when you slow down, what does everybody do when they come at like a tight turn? They pull their chest back and they chatter their feet real slow and they start to lean back, right? But when you go forward, you do the same exact thing, but now you're in an explosive position, right? So when his chest comes forward, his chin to his knee, I'm not saying bend at the waist, you're still sinking your hips, but you're violent with them, you're violent with your hips, and you're bringing your chin to your knee. Now, where's his second step? This is what nobody coaches. Snap down here. His second step is what pivots him out of there, right? That's going to get his hips turned on this 45 so he could run back to this ball, and now that third step hooks back around, and that's what explodes him out. Okay, so it's aggressive 1. So aggressive snap, pivot 2, drive 3, and you see how low of a pad level position he gets in. What everybody likes to do is they snap down right here, and then that second step pops their butt up, and then that third step comes up, and they swing that back foot around, and they have all these extra steps right here, or they're slow out of the break. This is one of the smoother snap down breaks that I've seen because we're here. Snap down, 2, 3. And now what I want to also add is when he's running up into this route, there is no indicator. He does not bring his chest up before this thing. He just drops down right now. Pivot 2, drive 3, and now you see here, this is like where I want to keep the energy that I produced at the top of the route. I want to pump my arms and I want to run out of this break, because here's the thing. This DB's in a back pedal, right? When you snap down, he's coming out of his break, so it's a race back to this spot. It's a race back to this ball, and you see how he's pumping his arms, coming back to this ball, making this catch. That's a great job. And yes, I know it's a pro day, but technique matters, guys. This is great technique. We're snapping down, dropping those hips, pivot 2, drive 3, running out of there with my arms. It's a great job, great curl route by A.J. Brown. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. He's coming out here, dropping it down, pivot 2, drive 3. Okay, so now he's going to be running a dig route, okay, but he's going to be attacking this DB's blind spot, okay? So now, this is a dig off of a speed cut, and yes, you can work this, okay? I know I rarely talk about this kind of route, but you can work this dig off of the speed cut. There's just a couple things we've got to make sure we do. We have a great pad level, very sudden, and we're exploding off the break. So you see here, he's in this blind spot of the DB, right? That's exactly where we want to be, and if we could get in this position, I think we should win every single time, whether we just break down, whether it's just a stick, whether we're running a curl. I think we should win every single time when we get in this blind spot. We want to attack this weak hip of the DB, right? So now when he makes this stick on this dig, I want you to see we got to get flat right now. I can't make this stick. This is breaking it up to 10 and then rounding it up to like 12, right? So when he makes this break, I can't just keep drifting. So how do I make sure I stay at 12? When you make this break, you want to push off the inside arch of your foot, but your arms are what take your hips flat, okay? So let's watch it full speed one more time. So coming out, stick, and you see how he stays flat with it. He just rounds it up to 12, and then we're good to go. Now, when he makes this stick here, his hips is what gets him flat down this route, okay? Then he kind of drifts to the ball on the catch. So you see his arms turn him flat. Your arms are what gets your hips there. You don't just come here and then you turn your hips and you could stop your arms. You see how he's pumping his arms in and pumping his arms out of the break, because your arms, if they swing you around, that's going to swing your hips around, because your arms are obviously attached to your body, right? So that's going to swing your hips around, and that's what's going to get you flat on this dig. Another technical thing, the main thing about beating this DB is we stay in that blind spot, and then we pump my arms to stay flat. That's a great job by A.J. Brown working this dig off of this square square cut and then just doing what he does after the catch. That's a great job by A.J. Brown. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. My bad, fast forward a little too far. Coming off stick, those arms is what takes your hips there. It's not beating the drum, guys. We're not beating the drum, going fast, and wasting all that time. Speed cut, turn your arms, I should say, and that's what gets your hips turned. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. Please leave in the comments any questions you guys have or any breakdowns that you would like to request. I will make sure to get back to you, and I'll see you guys next time.